Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Tonight's story begins on a rainy evening in New York City, where the rain pours relentlessly, hitting the streets with a rhythmic tap. The lights from the street lamps reflect on the wet pavement, creating a blurry dance of color on the ground. People hurry through the streets, umbrellas held tightly over their heads, trying to stay dry as the cold winds sweep through the city. Among them, a man steps out of a sleek black car, his expensive suit barely affected by the storm. His name is Ryan Carter, a billionaire entrepreneur with a reputation that precedes him. Yet tonight, his world is about to change in ways he could never imagine. Ryan strides confidently through the city, his face a mask of calm determination. He's used to being in control, whether it's managing his vast empire or navigating the high society events he's often seen at. But as he approaches a small cafe, something catches his attention: a woman standing under the awning, looking lost and out of place. Her name is Lily, a young woman in her late 20s, dressed modestly in a rain-soaked coat, her hair disheveled from the storm. She's fidgeting nervously, clutching her purse as if she's unsure of what to do next. Ryan stops in his tracks, watching her for a moment before making his decision. He walks toward her, offering a warm smile, though he knows the situation is anything but normal. "Are you okay?" he asks, his voice smooth but concerned. Lily looks up, startled, as if she hadn't noticed him approach. She quickly tries to pull herself together, but the hesitation is clear. "I'm fine, just waiting for a cab," she replies, her voice a little shaky as she glances down at the street. But Ryan sees through the lie. He can tell she's not just waiting for a cab. There's something more behind her eyes, something he can't quite place. "There's no need to wait in this rain," Ryan says, his voice calm but firm. "Let me give you a ride. It's not safe out here." Lily looks up at him, taken aback. She's about to protest, but something in his expression makes her hesitate. Maybe it's the kindness in his eyes, or maybe it's the fact that she doesn't have many other options. She nods slowly, too exhausted to refuse. Ryan opens the door of the car for her, his movements smooth and practiced. As she slides into the passenger seat, she can't help but notice how expensive everything about this car seems. The leather seats, the soft glow of the interior lights, and the quiet hum of the engines, all so different from the world she's used to. Ryan gets into the driver's seat and starts the car, pulling away from the curb. The rain continues to fall, but the car offers her a sense of security that she didn't realize she needed. As the car drives through the city streets, Ryan steals a glance at her. She's staring out the window, lost in thought, and he can't help but wonder what brought her out into the storm tonight. He's a businessman, a man who prides himself on being able to read people, but Lily's quiet demeanor is a mystery to him. "Where are you headed?" he asks, his voice soft yet probing. Lily turns to face him, startled once again. Just a few blocks over," she answers, unsure of how much to reveal. Ryan nods, his face unreadable, but there's something in his eyes, something that tells her this ride is far from ordinary. As the car drives on, the tension in the air becomes palpable. Lily shifts uncomfortably in her seat, glancing at Ryan, then out the window again. There's an unspoken connection building between them, something neither of them expected. For Ryan, this brief interaction is a departure from the usual encounters he has with women, most of them seeking his wealth, his status. But Lily? She seems different. The rain continues to pour outside, but inside the car, a new, unexpected dynamic is forming. Little does Lily know, this ride is not just taking her to her destination, it's driving her straight into a world she never thought she would be part of. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of an adventure that will change both of their lives forever. Hello everyone, before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Tonight's story begins on a rainy evening in New York City, where the rain pours relentlessly, hitting the streets with a rhythmic tap. The lights from the street lamps reflect on the wet pavement, creating a blurry dance of color on the ground. People hurry through the streets, umbrellas held tightly over their heads, trying to stay dry as the cold winds sweep through the city. Among them, a man steps out of a sleek black car, his expensive suit barely affected by the storm. His name is Ryan Carter, a billionaire entrepreneur with a reputation that precedes him. Yet tonight, his world is about to change in ways he never could have imagined. Ryan strides confidently through the city, his face a mask of calm determination. He's used to being in control, whether it's managing his vast empire or navigating the high society events he's often seen at. But as he approaches a small cafe, something catches his attention: a woman standing under the awning, looking lost and out of place. Her name is Lily, a young woman in her late 20s, dressed modestly in a rain-soaked coat, her hair disheveled from the storm. She's fidgeting nervously, clutching her purse as if she's unsure of what to do next. Ryan stops in his tracks, watching her for a moment before making his decision. He walks toward her, offering a warm smile, though he knows the situation is anything but normal. "Are you okay?" he asks, his voice smooth but concerned. Lily looks up, startled, as if she hadn't noticed him approach. She quickly tries to pull herself together, but the hesitation is clear. "I'm fine, just waiting for a cab," she replies, her voice a little shaky as she glances down at the street. But Ryan sees through the lie. He can tell she's not just waiting for a cab, there's something more behind her eyes, something he can't quite place. "There's no need to wait in this rain," Ryan says, his voice calm but firm. "Let me give you a ride. It's not safe out here." Lily looks up at him, taken aback. She's about to protest, but something in his expression makes her hesitate. Maybe it's the kindness in his eyes, or maybe it's the fact that she doesn't have many other options. She nods slowly, too exhausted to refuse. Ryan opens the door of the car for her, his movements smooth and practiced. As she slides into the passenger seat, she can't help but notice how expensive everything about this car seems. The leather seats, the soft glow of the interior lights, and the quiet hum of the enginites, all so different from the world she's used to. Ryan gets into the driver's seat and starts the car, pulling away from the curb. The rain continues to fall, but the car offers her a sense of security that she didn't realize she needed. As the car drives through the city streets, Ryan steals a glance at her. She's staring out the window, lost in thought, and he can't help but wonder what brought her out into the storm tonight. He's a businessman, a man who prides himself on being able to read people, but Lily's quiet demeanor is a mystery to him. "Where are you headed?" he asks, his voice soft yet probing. Lily turns to face him, startled once again. Just a few blocks over," she answers, unsure of how much to reveal. Ryan nods, his face unreadable, but there's something in his eyes, something that tells her this ride is far from ordinary. As the car drives on, the tension in the air becomes palpable. Lily shifts uncomfortably in her seat, glancing at Ryan, then out the window again. There's an unspoken connection building between them, something neither of them expected. For Ryan, this brief interaction is a departure from the usual encounters he has with women, most of them seeking his wealth, his status. But Lily? She seems different. The rain continues to pour outside, but inside the car, a new, unexpected dynamic is forming. Little does Lily know, this ride is not just taking her to her destination, it's driving her straight into a world she never thought she would be part of. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of an adventure that will change both of their lives forever. As the car drives through the streets, the rain continues to fall, its rhythmic tap against the windows almost hypnotic. The city lights blur into a cascade of colors as Ryan keeps his focus on the road, but his thoughts are on the woman sitting beside him. Lily, whose quiet presence has intrigued him from the very first moment. He can't remember the last time he felt this kind of curiosity about someone, not just for her appearance, but for the way she carries herself, the way she seems so out of place in this luxury car, yet so real. "So, Lily," Ryan starts, breaking the silence. "What brings you to the city tonight?" His voice is casual, but there's an underlying curiosity, a gentle prod for her to reveal more about herself. Lily glances over at him, her eyes still a little hesitant. She's trying to figure him out, just as much as he's trying to figure her out. "Just a rough day," she says, offering him a small, tired smile. "I was supposed to meet with a potential employer, but that didn't go as planned." Ryan raises an eyebrow, his curiosity piqued. "I take it things didn't work out with the interview?" he asks, his tone soft but probing. Lily sighs, staring out of the window again. "It's not just that," she replies. "I've been trying to get things together for a while. But sometimes, it feels like no matter how hard you try, it's just not enough." There's a pause, the weight of her words hanging in the air between them. Ryan doesn't push further, respecting her need for space, but he's still deeply intrigued. He's used to people wanting something from him, his money, his status, but Lily doesn't seem like that. There's something raw and real about her that draws him in. After a moment, he speaks again. "I'm sorry to hear that. But you know, not everything is about getting it right the first time. Sometimes the struggle is what makes the victory worth it." His voice is reassuring, and Lily can't help but glance at him again, the sincerity in his words striking her. Lily nods slowly, her mind racing as she tries to process the strange situation she finds herself in. She's just a woman trying to make it on her own, and now she's sitting in a luxury car with a stranger who, for all she knows, might have no real interest in helping her. Yet, there's something about him, something she can't quite put her finger on, that makes her feel safe. She decides to break the silence again, her voice soft but genuine. "I appreciate this," she says. "The ride, I mean. I wasn't sure what I was going to do in the rain. I didn't have much of a choice, but thank you for helping me out." Ryan glances at her, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "No need to thank me," he says, "it's just a ride." But the words don't feel right coming from him. He knows it's more than just a ride. He's offering her something she clearly needs, an escape from the storm, both literal and metaphorical. The car pulls up to an upscale building, its glass facade reflecting the lights of the city. Ryan slows down, glancing over at Lily as he parks. "We're here," he says, his voice low and almost reluctant. There's a brief silence before he adds, "I can't let you go into the night alone. Not like this." Lily looks at him, surprised by his offer. She wasn't expecting him to insist on anything further. "I can manage from here," she replies, though there's a hint of doubt in her voice. The rain outside is still falling hard, and she knows the walk won't be pleasant. Ryan shakes his head, his decision already made. "I'm not asking," he says gently. "Come inside. You'll catch a cold out here." Lily hesitates, her mind racing. She's been independent for so long, she's not used to relying on others. But something about Ryan's calm authority makes it hard to argue. She looks at him one last time, then nods, her voice barely above a whisper. All right. Just for a little while. Ryan steps out of the car and opens the door for her. As she steps out, he guides her toward the entrance of the building, a sleek, modern structure that feels worlds away from the life she's known. Inside, the warmth is immediate, the air clean and crisp. The building is far too luxurious for someone like her, but Ryan walks with the ease of someone who belongs here. They enter a quiet lobby, and Ryan leads her to the elevator. The doors open with a soft ding, and they step inside, the elevator moving smoothly up. Lily is still in shock from the series of events, how quickly things have changed for her tonight. A few hours ago, she was alone and stranded in the rain. Now she's walking into what could only be described as a world far removed from her own. Ryan presses the button for the top floor, then turns to her. I know this might feel a little strange, he says, his voice soft. But trust me, you're not alone in this. I've been where you are. Lily looks up at him, surprised by his words. You've been where I am, she asks, her voice tinged with disbelief. Ryan nods, his gaze steady. We all have our battles, he says quietly, and sometimes, the only way to get through them is to accept a little help. The elevator dings as it reaches the top floor, and Ryan steps out first, holding the door for Lily. She steps out behind him, looking around in awe at the luxurious surroundings. As they walk down the hallway, she feels like she's in a dream too surreal to be real. Ryan stops in front of a door and keys it open. This is where we start, he says with a smile. Come on in. Lily takes a deep breath, still trying to absorb everything. She's not sure what's about to happen, but for the first time in a long time, she feels a glimmer of hope. Stay tuned, because this unexpected journey is far from over. As the door swings open, Lily steps inside the lavish apartment, her eyes wide with disbelief. The soft lighting casts a warm glow over the modern furnishings, and the space feels so far removed from her usual world. She can't help but feel out of place, as if she's wandered into someone else's dream. Ryan steps in after her, closing the door behind them, and she hears the soft click of the lock. It's quiet now, just the two of them, and the hum of the city outside feels miles away. Ryan gestures to the plush sofa across from him. Please, have a seat. I know this is all a bit much, but I promise, you're safe here. His voice is calm, reassuring, but Lily can't shake the feeling of being overwhelmed. She sits down slowly, her hands gripping the edges of the cushion as she tries to steady her racing thoughts. I don't even know how to process all of this, Lily admits, her voice almost a whisper. One moment, I'm standing in the rain, and the next, I'm in a penthouse with a man I barely know. Ryan leans against the armrest, his gaze soft but intense. I get it, he says quietly. I really do. You weren't expecting this, and neither was I. But sometimes, life has a funny way of throwing us into situations we never saw coming. Lily glances up at him, her expression a mixture of confusion and curiosity. What is it that you want from me? She asks, her voice steady but cautious. She's not used to this kind of attention, especially not from someone like Ryan. She can feel the weight of the question hanging in the air, but she knows she has to ask. Ryan meets her gaze without hesitation, his voice low but sincere. I'm not asking for anything from you, Lily, he says, his words clear and unwavering. I want to help you. There's something about you that's different from the people I usually deal with. You're real. You're not here for my money or my status. I can see that. Lily feels a rush of relief at his words, but the skepticism doesn't entirely leave her. She's been hurt before, let down by people who only saw her as a means to an end. But Ryan's sincerity makes her pause. She wants to believe him, but it's hard to let go of the walls she's spent so long building around herself. I don't know if I can just accept your help, she says softly, her voice tinged with doubt. I'm not used to people doing things for me without expecting something in return. Ryan's expression softens, and he steps closer, though he doesn't crowd her. I understand, he replies gently. It's not easy to trust. But sometimes, we have to take a leap of faith. You don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with. I just want to offer you a chance to get back on your feet, and maybe, to find a way forward. Lily looks down at her hands, feeling the weight of her own uncertainty. It's hard to remember what it feels like to trust, to accept help without guilt. But something about Ryan's words, the quiet conviction in his voice, makes her wonder if maybe, just maybe, she could allow herself to let go of some of the fear that's held her back for so long. What kind of help are you talking about? She asks, her voice barely above a whisper. She's not sure if she's ready to hear the answer, but she knows she has to ask. Ryan takes a deep breath, his gaze never leaving hers. I'm offering you more than just a place to stay for the night. I have connections, opportunities. One can offer you things that could change your life if you're open to them. He pauses, as if weighing his next words carefully. But it's up to you. I'm not going to pressure you into anything. This is your choice. Lily is silent for a moment, processing everything he's said. She's never had someone offer her this kind of opportunity, and it's hard to know if she can really trust it. But there's something about Ryan, something in the way he's spoken to her, in the way he's treated her like a person and not just a project, that makes her feel like maybe she could trust him. And what do you want in return? She asks, her voice steady now, though she still feels the hesitation lingering in the back of her mind. Ryan smiles, a small but genuine smile, and shakes his head. I don't want anything in return, Lily. I've seen how hard you've been working, how you've been pushing through life's challenges. I know what it's like to struggle. All I want is to give you a chance to build something better for yourself. Lily nods slowly, the weight of his words sinking in. It's hard to believe, hard to accept that someone is offering her help with no strings attached. But as she looks around at the luxury of the apartment, at the calm assurance in Ryan's demeanor, she feels a flicker of hope. Maybe this is the break she's been waiting for. All right, she says, her voice more confident now, though the doubt still lingers at the edge of her words. I'll take the help. But I don't know if I'm ready to accept everything you're offering just yet. Ryan's smile widens, and he nods in understanding. That's all I ask for, he says. Take it one step at a time. We'll figure it out together. Lily feels a wave of relief wash over her, and for the first time in a long while, she allows herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, she can find a way forward. And as she looks at Ryan, she realizes that this unexpected turn of events might just be the beginning of something new. Stay tuned, because this journey is far from over, and both of them are about to discover what happens when two completely different worlds collide. The next few days pass in a blur for Lily. She tries to settle into her new routine, but everything feels surreal. Each morning, she wakes up in the luxurious apartment, the soft sheets beneath her a reminder that her life has changed, yet she feels out of place. Ryan's offer to help has given her a sense of hope, but she still can't quite believe it's real. She's always been independent, but now, she's learning to lean on someone else, something she's never done before. Ryan, for his part, gives her space but also ensures she knows that she has options. Each evening, they talk. He listens to her dreams and fears, offering quiet support without pushing her. The tension between them slowly shifts from uncertainty to a strange, unspoken connection. One evening, after a quiet dinner at the apartment, Ryan brings up a proposal he's been thinking about. "Lily," he begins, his voice calm, "I've been thinking about how I can help you get back on your feet. There's a position opening up in one of my companies, nothing too demanding at first, but it could be the perfect place for you to start." Lily looks up from her plate, her fork paused halfway to her mouth. The offer surprises her, and her stomach twists with a mixture of excitement and doubt. "A job with you?" she asks, her voice hesitant. "I don't know if I'm ready for something like that." Ryan smiles softly, his gaze steady. "It's not just about the job. It's about finding a place where you can feel like you belong, where you can build something for yourself. I believe in what you can do, Lily. I've seen the way you handle things, your determination. I think you'd be great." Lily lowers her fork, her hands resting in her lap as she processes his words. It feels like a big step, one that could change everything. But there's still a part of her that's unsure. She's never worked for someone like him before. The idea of being in his world, surrounded by wealth and power, makes her feel small. Yet, his words are convincing. He believes in her in a way no one else ever has. "I'm not sure," Lily admits, her voice quiet. "I've always been on my own. I don't know if I can just step into this world. It's not like what I'm used to." Ryan leans forward slightly, his expression warm and understanding. "I get it. It's a lot to take in. But you don't have to change who you are to fit in. I'm not asking you to pretend to be someone you're not. I just want to give you the opportunity to show what you're really capable of." Lily stares at him, her mind racing. There's something in his eyes, something that tells her he's not just offering her a job, he's offering her a chance to rebuild, to create a future she never thought possible. But can she really step into this new life, this world that feels so different from everything she's ever known? She looks away for a moment, her hands fidgeting with the edge of her napkin. Finally, she speaks, her voice more confident now, though tinged with uncertainty. "I'll think about it," she says. "But I don't want to rush into anything. I need to know if this is what's right for me." The days that followed felt like a blur for Lily. She had reluctantly agreed to accept Ryan's help, but still, a part of her couldn't shake the feeling that it was all too good to be true. She had moved into the guest suite of Ryan's penthouse, a space more luxurious than anything she had ever seen, and for the first time in months, she didn't have to worry about where her next meal would come from or whether her bills would get paid. Yet, the doubt still lingered in the back of her mind. Ryan kept his promise. He didn't push her into anything she wasn't ready for, but he made sure she felt supported. Every day, he checked in with her, asking how she was doing, offering advice when she needed it, and giving her space when she asked for it. He had even set up a meeting with one of his business associates who worked in the tech industry, offering Lily the chance to pursue a new career path, something she never thought possible. Lily had no idea what to expect from the meeting. She was still getting used to the idea that Ryan was actually helping her without expecting anything in return. It was a strange feeling, one she wasn't sure how to navigate. But when she sat down across from Thomas, a tall, polished man with a confident smile, something inside her clicked. The conversation flowed smoothly, and before long, Thomas was offering her an internship at his company, with the possibility of turning it into a full-time position. Lily couldn't believe it. For the first time in a long while, she felt like there was a real opportunity in front of her. After the meeting, Lily found herself in a daze, walking back to Ryan's apartment. She felt both excited and terrified. Excited because for once, she had something to look forward to, something that felt real. Terrified because she wasn't sure if she could live up to the expectations of a world that was so different from the one she had come from. When she walked through the door, Ryan was sitting on the couch, flipping through a magazine. He looked up as she entered, a knowing smile on his face. "How did it go?" he asked, his voice calm and casual. Lily stood there for a moment, the weight of the situation sinking in. I got the internship," she said, her voice a little shaky as she tried to process what had just happened. "I never thought I'd actually have a shot at something like this." Ryan's smile widened, and he stood up, walking over to her. "I knew you had it in you," he said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You just needed someone to believe in you." Lily felt a lump form in her throat as his words hit her. She had never had anyone believe in her like this before, and she didn't know how to react. She had spent so long doubting herself, telling herself she wasn't good enough for anything more than the struggles she had endured. But here she was, standing in front of someone who saw something in her, someone who was offering her a chance to succeed. "Thank you," she said quietly, her voice thick with emotion. "I don't know how to thank you enough for all of this. I don't know what I would have done without you." Ryan looked at her, his expression softening. "You don't need to thank me, Lily," he said. "You've done all the hard work. I'm just here to give you the tools you need to build the life you deserve." Lily nodded, wiping a tear from her cheek before she even realized it was there. "I don't know what to say," she whispered. I never thought this would happen. I never thought I'd have a chance to change things." Ryan stepped back and looked at her with a serious expression. "You're the one who changed things, Lily. All I did was offer a little help. The rest is all you." Lily looked at him, her heart swelling with gratitude. She had never had someone like him in her life before, and now she was starting to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could have the life she'd always dreamed of. Over the next few weeks, things started to fall into place for Lily. The internship went well, and she quickly impressed her colleagues with her work ethic and determination. She felt more alive than she had in years, waking up each day with a purpose and a reason to move forward. But even as things were going well, the uncertainty lingered. She couldn't shake the feeling that the life she was building was somehow too perfect, too easy. She wondered if it would all come crashing down. One evening, after a long day at the office, Ryan invited her to a dinner at his place. It was a quiet evening, no business talk, no pressure. Just two people who had become friends. They talked about everything and nothing, sharing stories about their lives, their pasts, and their dreams. It was the first time Lily felt truly comfortable around Ryan, without the weight of expectations hanging over her. After dinner, they walked out onto the balcony, the city skyline sparkling in the distance. The air was cool, and the wind rustled through the trees. "You're doing well, Lily," Ryan said, his voice quiet in the evening air. "I'm proud of you." Lily smiled, her heart fluttering in her chest. "Thank you," she said softly. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Ryan turned to her, his expression serious. "You're the one who did the hard work," he repeated. "I'm just glad I could be there to help." Lily looked up at him, her smile fading as something more than gratitude flickered in her chest. She wasn't sure what it was, but for the first time, she realized that she didn't just admire Ryan for his kindness. There was something deeper there, something she wasn't ready to face yet. Stay tuned, because Lily's journey is far from over, and the road ahead will lead her to places she never imagined. The next few days passed in a blur of work and quiet moments between Lily and Ryan. Lily's internship continued to go well, and with every passing week, she felt more and more like she was finding her place in a world she once thought was beyond her reach. Her confidence grew as she excelled at her tasks, and soon, her colleagues began to take notice. She found herself enjoying the work and the challenge, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Despite the progress, there was still a lingering tension in the air whenever she was around Ryan. They had become close, spending time together in the evenings after work, but the underlying connection between them had become impossible to ignore. It wasn't just gratitude anymore, it was something deeper, something Lily couldn't quite name. And though she had tried to push it away, to focus on her career and the opportunity Ryan had given her, she couldn't stop thinking about him. One evening, after a long day at the office, Lily walked into the penthouse, her thoughts consumed by the events of the day. Ryan was sitting at the kitchen island, flipping through a few papers, but as soon as she entered, his gaze lifted and his expression softened. "You look like you had a busy day," he said, his voice warm and inviting. "I ordered dinner if you're hungry." Lily smiled, grateful for the gesture. "Thanks," she replied, setting her bag down on the counter. "I didn't expect to be here so late, but the project is coming together." Ryan stood up, walking over to her. "I'm glad to hear that. You've been working hard, Lily. I can see the progress." He paused, as if considering something, then added, "You're doing well. But I can't help but wonder, are you happy?" The question caught Lily off guard. She had been so focused on the practical aspects of her life, trying to prove herself, that she hadn't really stopped to ask herself whether she was truly happy. She hesitated, thinking for a moment. "I think I am," she said slowly. "I mean, it's been hard, but I feel like I'm moving forward. Like things are finally starting to click." She met his gaze, her eyes searching his for some kind of answer, something that would reassure her. "But there's still so much I haven't figured out. So much I'm unsure about." Ryan smiled gently, walking closer to her. "That's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out right now. It's a process. And you're doing great." He reached out, touching her arm softly. "But I want you to know that you're not alone in this." Lily's breath caught at the touch. There was something in the way Ryan spoke, something in the way he looked at her, that made her heart skip a beat. She had felt this pull between them for a while now, but she had pushed it aside, afraid of what it might mean. But in this moment, with him standing so close, she realized that she couldn't ignore it anymore. "Ryan, she began, but her voice faltered. She wasn't sure how to put her feelings into words. "I don't know what this is, what's happening between us, but," she paused again, taking a deep breath. "I don't want to lose what we have." Ryan's expression softened, his hand moving from her arm to gently cup her face. "You're not going to lose anything, Lily," he said quietly. "I'm not going anywhere." In that moment, Lily felt a surge of emotion she hadn't been expecting. She had spent so long protecting herself, building walls around her heart, that the vulnerability she felt now was almost overwhelming. But it wasn't fear. It was hope. For the first time, she allowed herself to imagine a future that didn't revolve around survival but around something more. Something real. "I don't know what to do with all of this," Lily admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know how to feel." Ryan smiled softly, his thumb gently brushing across her cheek. "You don't have to know right now. We'll take it one step at a time. No pressure." Lily looked into his eyes, the warmth of his touch calming the uncertainty in her chest. For once, she didn't feel alone. She didn't feel like she had to figure everything out by herself. With Ryan by her side, maybe she didn't have to. "Thank you," she said quietly, her voice filled with gratitude. "For everything. For believing in me." Ryan's smile deepened, his gaze never leaving hers. "You don't have to thank me, Lily," he said softly. "You've always had it in you. You just needed someone to see it." And in that moment, as the world outside the penthouse seemed so far away, Lily realized something: she wasn't just starting over in her career, she was starting over in her life. And for the first time in a long while, she felt like she was finally moving towards something that was truly hers. Stay tuned, because Lily's journey is about to take a new turn, and the choices she makes now will define the rest of her story. The following days felt like a delicate balance for Lily. She had started to embrace the opportunity Ryan had given her, but the emotions she had been pushing aside were beginning to surface. She had been living in his world for weeks now, trying to focus on her work, but the deeper connection between them was becoming undeniable. Every time their eyes met, every conversation they had, she felt that pull, that magnetism between them. But there was always a part of her that was hesitant, uncertain whether she could truly trust this sudden shift in her life. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at work, Lily returned to the penthouse, her mind a whirl of conflicting thoughts. She opened the door, expecting to find the usual calm of the apartment, but instead, she was met with the sound of Ryan's voice coming from the living room. He was speaking on the phone, his tone sharp, a side of him she hadn't seen before. She paused at the door, unsure whether to interrupt or wait. Ryan noticed her standing in the doorway and immediately ended the call. He stood up, walking toward her with a look of concern. "Is everything okay?" he asked, his voice softening when he saw her face. Lily smiled faintly, trying to shake off the tension she was feeling. "Yeah, just a long day," she said, shrugging off her coat and tossing it over the couch. She wasn't sure if she was ready to talk about what had been weighing on her mind, but the quiet tension between them was becoming too much to ignore. Ryan didn't push her, but his eyes searched hers as if he could tell something was wrong. "I know it's been a lot lately, with everything changing so quickly," he said, his voice gentle. "But if you ever need to talk, I'm here." Lily took a deep breath, her heart racing as she tried to find the right words. "Ryan, I don't know how to handle all of this. It's like everything is moving so fast, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for it." "Ready for you." Ryan stepped closer, his expression softening as he reached out to touch her arm. "Lily," he said quietly, "you don't have to be ready for everything all at once. We can take things one step at a time. I'm not asking you to have it all figured out. I'm just asking you to trust me, trust that I'm here for you, no matter what." The warmth of his touch sent a wave of comfort through her, but the doubts that had been swirling in her mind for days were still there. She had never been one to trust easily, and the idea of opening her heart again, especially to someone like Ryan, scared her more than she wanted to admit. "It's not just about trusting you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's about trusting myself. I don't know if I can. I've been on my own for so long, and now everything's changing so fast." Ryan's gaze never wavered, his voice steady and unwavering. "I get that," he said softly. "But you don't have to do this alone anymore. I'm here to help you, to be there for you. I want to build something with you, but only if you're ready. And if you're not, that's okay, too. Just know that I'm not going anywhere." Lily looked at him, her heart pounding in her chest. She had never had someone like Ryan in her life, someone who was willing to stand by her no matter what. She had spent so long fending for herself, trying to make it on her own, but the thought of letting someone in, of letting herself be vulnerable, was terrifying. Ryan reached out, cupping her face in his hands, and she looked up into his eyes. "You don't have to figure everything out right now, Lily," he said softly. "You just have to know that I'm here for you, whenever you're ready." Lily closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of his words sink in. She knew he was right. She didn't have to have everything figured out. But for the first time in a long time, she felt like maybe she didn't have to do it all alone. Maybe she could trust someone. Maybe she could trust him. When she opened her eyes, she found Ryan still looking at her, waiting for her to say something. She took a deep breath, finally letting the words slip out. "I'm scared, Ryan," she admitted. "But I think I'm ready to try." A smile broke across Ryan's face, and for the first time in a long while, Lily felt like she wasn't carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. She didn't know what the future held, but in that moment, she felt like she had someone by her side, someone who believed in her and in the possibility of something more. Ryan leaned down, gently brushing his lips against her forehead. "That's all I need to hear," he whispered. "We'll take it one day at a time." And for the first time in a long time, Lily believed him. She wasn't sure where this journey would take her, but for once, she wasn't afraid to take that first step. Stay tuned, because this story is just beginning, and Lily's path is about to take an unexpected turn. The days that followed felt like a new chapter for Lily. She woke up each morning with a sense of purpose, her confidence growing with every task she completed at her internship. She had come so far from the woman who was struggling in the rain that night. Ryan's words echoed in her mind, "I'm here for you, whenever you're ready." She didn't know if she was fully ready, but she was learning to trust herself and him. The weight of her past was slowly starting to lift, replaced by the possibility of a future that she never dared to dream about. One evening, after another long day at the office, Lily returned to Ryan's penthouse, feeling a bit more at ease with the world around her. She was becoming accustomed to the luxury, the quiet calm of the apartment, and the comfort of knowing that she had a support system, something she'd never had before. Ryan was already there, sitting on the couch, his laptop open in front of him, but he looked up as soon as she entered. "How was work today?" he asked, his tone light, but there was a warmth to it that made her feel at home. Lily smiled, walking over to join him on the couch. "It was good," she said, settling beside him. "I think I'm getting the hang of things. Everyone at the office is really supportive, and I'm starting to feel like I actually belong there." Ryan nodded, a proud smile playing on his lips. "I knew you would," he said, his voice filled with quiet admiration. "You've always had the potential. It was just a matter of giving you the chance to show it." Lily looked at him, a wave of gratitude filling her chest. She had been so used to feeling invisible, to struggling alone, but Ryan had seen something in her that no one else had. And now, she was starting to see it in herself, too. "I never thought I'd be here," she said quietly, her voice soft. "I mean, a few months ago, I had no idea how I was going to get through the day, let alone the next year. And now, I have a real future. I don't know how to thank you for that." Ryan reached over, his hand gently resting on hers. "You don't have to thank me," he said softly. "You did all the hard work. I just gave you the space to believe in yourself." Lily squeezed his hand, her heart swelling with emotion. She had always believed that she wasn't enough, that she wasn't worthy of anything good. But now, with Ryan's quiet support, she was beginning to realize that she was. She was enough. And maybe, just maybe, she was ready to let herself believe in more than just survival. As they sat there in comfortable silence, Ryan looked at her, his expression serious. "Lily, there's something I need to tell you." His voice was soft, but it carried an intensity that caught her attention. She turned to him, her heart skipping a beat. "What is it?" she asked, her voice steady but filled with curiosity. Ryan took a deep breath, as if gathering his thoughts. "I've been thinking a lot about everything, about us. And I just want to make sure you understand where I'm coming from." He paused, his gaze never leaving hers. "I'm not asking you to feel the same way, but I've come to realize that I care about you, Lily. More than I ever expected to." Lily's breath caught in her throat. She hadn't expected those words. She had felt the connection between them growing, but hearing it out loud was something entirely different. She looked at him, unsure of what to say. Ryan squeezed her hand gently, his thumb brushing over her skin. "I'm not rushing you into anything, Lily. I just wanted you to know how I feel. I don't want there to be any misunderstandings. Lily took a moment, her mind racing. She had been so focused on her own growth, on finding herself again, that she hadn't allowed herself to fully consider the possibility of a relationship. But hearing Ryan's words, feeling the sincerity in his voice, made something shift inside her. Maybe she wasn't as afraid of this as she had thought. Maybe she was ready to let herself feel again. I care about you too, Ryan, she said quietly, her voice barely above a whisper. I didn't know what to expect when I came into your world, but I think I'm starting to understand what it feels like to have someone believe in me. And that's more than I ever thought I deserved. Ryan's eyes softened, and he leaned in slightly, his gaze intense. You deserve all of it, Lily. More than you'll ever know. In that moment, Lily realized something she hadn't fully understood before. She wasn't just changing her career or her life. She was opening herself up to a future that was filled with possibility, not just for herself, but for something or someone else. And for the first time in a long time, she felt like she wasn't alone in this journey. Stay tuned, because Lily's story is only beginning, and the choices she makes now will shape the future she never thought possible. Weeks passed, and Lily found herself standing at the threshold of a new life. She had taken a leap of faith, and it was paying off in ways she never expected. Her career was progressing, and with every passing day, she grew more confident in her abilities. She was no longer the woman who struggled to get by. She was someone who was building a future for herself. And, more importantly, she was no longer alone. Ryan had become a constant presence in her life, not just as a mentor or a friend, but as something more. The connection between them had deepened, and Lily found herself thinking about him more often, wondering if this unexpected relationship could turn into something real. One evening, after work, Lily met Ryan at his favorite cafe, a quiet, intimate spot where they had shared many conversations. As she walked in, she saw him sitting at their usual table, a warm smile spreading across his face as he saw her approach. Hey, you, Ryan said, standing up as she reached the table. He pulled out the chair for her, a gesture that always made her feel like she was the most important person in the room. Lily smiled, sitting down, and they quickly fell into their usual easy rhythm. How was your day? Ryan asked, his voice warm and familiar. Lily leaned back in her chair, looking at him with a mixture of affection and gratitude. It was good, she said, her smile softening. I'm really starting to feel like I belong there. It's not perfect, but it's progress. And that's all I can ask for. Ryan nodded, his eyes filled with pride. I knew you would get there. You've always had the potential, Lily. I just gave you the opportunity to realize it. Lily paused for a moment, her heart swelling with emotion. She had come so far since she first met Ryan, standing in the rain with no idea of what the future held. Now, here she was, sitting across from him, with a career, a future, and a sense of belonging she never thought possible. You've given me so much, Ryan, Lily said quietly, her voice filled with sincerity. I don't think I could have gotten this far without you. You've not only helped me build a career, but you've helped me believe in myself again. Ryan's smile softened, and he reached across the table, taking her hand in his. You did all the hard work, Lily, he said, his voice low and steady. I just helped guide you along the way. You're the one who made all of this happen. Lily looked at him, her heart racing. She had always been afraid of opening up, of letting someone in, but with Ryan, it felt different. He had shown her what it meant to truly believe in someone, and for the first time, she felt like she was worthy of that belief. I'm not sure I can ever repay you for everything you've done for me, Lily said softly, her eyes searching his. Ryan chuckled, the sound warm and reassuring. You don't have to, he said, his thumb gently brushing across her hand. Seeing you succeed, seeing you happy, that's all the reward I need." Lily's heart skipped a beat as she looked at him. She had always known there was something between them, but in that moment, she realized it wasn't just admiration or gratitude, it was something deeper. Something that had been growing quietly between them, something she couldn't ignore any longer. "Ryan," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I think I'm ready for more than just this. I'm ready for us." Ryan's eyes softened, and he leaned forward, his voice low and filled with warmth. "I've been waiting for you to say that." The tension that had been building between them over the weeks finally snapped, and Lily felt a weight lift off her shoulders. It wasn't just about her career anymore, it was about taking a chance on love, on the possibility of a future with someone who had become her rock. As Ryan reached for her hand, pulling it gently toward him, Lily realized that this journey wasn't just about success or survival, it was about finding happiness, trust, and connection with someone who saw her for who she truly was. "So, what now?" Lily asked, a playful smile tugging at the corner of her lips. Ryan grinned, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Now," he said, leaning in closer, "we see where this takes us." And for the first time in a long time, Lily felt a sense of peace settle over her. She didn't have all the answers, and the future was still uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, she was excited about the road ahead. With Ryan by her side, she knew she was ready for whatever came next. Stay tuned, because the story of Lily and Ryan is only just beginning, and the best is yet to come.